let's talk about correcting the gut for good, because a lot of people ask me, well, should I be taking probiotics? What about prebiotics? And how can I constantly renew my gut? And what probiotics should I be taking? And I think that world can get super complicated. And you can end up taking so many different probiotics. And we actually, there's a research that we did out of my school. Well, one of the research projects we did was on Prozac. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but we tested Prozac versus placebo. And the patients who took the placebo actually had a better outcome, and that was interesting. But the other one we did was we in our lab we tested what was in probiotics, and a lot of what we found that was on the label was not what was in the capsule. And some of the species in the phylum that we found in those probiotics were very pathogenic. And so with that, how would you correct the gut for good? And what would be some of your recommendations as far as pre and probiotics?
Well, I mean, I like the Akkermansia, but diversity. I really try to go for diversity. I like Saccharomyces boulardii and getting that beneficial yeast in there. I use a lot of like Bacillus subtilis and Bacillus coagulans because they're like an antibiotic, probiotic. So those are super powerful as far as building that up. And then, I like to really reintroduce the short chain fatty acids like butyrate, acetate, propionate, but specifically that butyrate. And, what's interesting is butyrate is like, if you look at what butyrate does in the gut and you look at LL37, they correlate so well, and you find butyrate stimulates LL37 production. So it makes sense. So it makes sense that, you have a gut that's really bad. Why LL37, instead of having to wait till you heal the gut and reintroduce all these healthy species and wipe out these microbes, that you actually get, LL37 on their protocol,
Fascinating. And I didn't know that was a big secretome of LL37. It makes sense because the butyrate's right there on the intestinal lining, and that's LL37 just hanging out on those epithelial cells, just like waiting until it needs to be called into action. So fascinating. One of the things that I like about Akkermansia is it seems to have some very powerful blood sugar regulation impact, and it builds up that mucosal lining on the inside of the gut. And so I look at it as a way of building up the barrier. And as far as all the probiotics that we've used, and yes, I wouldn't want someone to stay on Akkermansia long-term. Every probiotic, I say, cycle on every 2 months and cycle off of it and get on a different one. So, and I love the Saccharomyces boulardii too, because a lot of us, we forget that your entire biome is more than just bacteria in your gut. There's really healthy fungi. And we always think that yeast is a bad thing, but it actually is really good. If you think about what cleans the environment, it's the mycelium, it's the mushrooms that are hanging out there, and they have their own orchestra going on beneath the soil. It's pretty powerful. If you've seen Paul Stamets' video, did you see the magical mushroom video? Or I can't remember exactly what it's called, that documentary on mushrooms that Paul Stamets did.
I only saw a really short version of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
Okay, well, you got the gist of it then, but yeah, pretty fascinating. So think about that in your gut as well. And then for resistant starches, one of the easiest things that you can do and have your patients do is have some cold potatoes. I'm from Idaho, and so I'm like, potatoes have gotten a bad rap, and everyone's like, oh, they make you fat, and they're nightshades, and so they're going to cause inflammation. But I think we've been eating them the wrong way, and so all you need to do is every week do some meal planning, make your meat, make your carbs, and then cool them off. And one of the best ways you can get some nice prebiotics is take some sweet potatoes or russet potatoes, whatever you like. And then every morning when you break your fast, that's what breakfast means. You break the fast, slice off a little piece of that potato and eat it. And that's a great way of inoculating the gut and feeding the good bacteria, because really it's not always about putting more of a good thing in. It can also be about feeding what's already there. And I find that can be a really powerful habit to get into. And then, it's called, Shawnee, thank you. It's called Fantastic Fungi. It's not magical fungi, but Fantastic Fungi on Netflix.
Yep.
These prebiotics, yes, we love the carbohydrates and we get a little endorphin rush from them. But if you eat them later on in the evening, and when you're more insulin sensitive, you'll have a much better outcome from them. But then if you can eat the right kind of carbohydrates, it can be really healthy for your gut. So let's jump into BPC-157, the body protective complex. Now, the way that this used to be made by pharmacies was through humic gastric secretion. So all of these peptides, peptide, LL37, KPV, these are all endogenously created. These are in your body and they're natural secretomes. And remember, we're just turning up the orchestra. So these are the secretomes that seem to help us heal. And what BPC has been shown to do is be protective with the gut barriers. It combats inflammation. It resolves IBS. One of the studies is, and this is a study on rats. So I know I've been kind of going through Dan's favorite animals, but this gives Dan some hope that if your rat, Dan, ever happens to get tubal ligation in the hepatic portal vein, if someone ever happens to snip that vein just on accident, or if they're climbing over a barbed wire fence and it catches it, there's actually hope with BPC-157, because in the research, they took these rats and researchers severed the hepatic portal vein, and then they gave one group of rats just water to drink as they went jaundice and they went into liver failure and as they had a painful death. And the other group got BPC-157 in their water. And similar to the experiment that was done with ulcerative colitis in mice with KPV, the BPC-157 is something that can be tolerated orally because it is a gastric secretion. And what happened to these rats is the hepatic portal vein actually healed.
Knowing all the mechanisms and the effect that BPC has on connective tissue, it's going to have a really powerful effect on that. And then, just like you have on the barriers here, we know that it improves the nitric oxide pathways, but it's going to, a lot's going to have to do with the connective tissues and having to do with the basement membrane of all of our endothelial tissue.
BPC is, as far as treatments go, it's known as the Wolverine peptide. It's one of those peptides you can use BPC with thymosin beta-4. If someone really has some massive dysregulation in their HPA axis, like they can't sleep, they have gut issues, they're chronically stressed, they're just ruminating all the time, then you use BPC, thymosin beta-4, and epitalin, and you will see where someone's just about ready to be put on like Seroquel or some antipsychotic drugs, high dose lithium, for example. This resets them, and then that whole psychosis mellows out. It's just a phenomenal thing. I've seen it in 3 different patients where it was tenuous at best in what they were dealing with. So pretty phenomenal there with BPC. Any other insights on BPC?
BPC, one of the reasons we love it so much is because it has a GABAergic response. So it has that inhibitory neurotransmitter pathway. And so, with the gut, when we have these really disrupted guts, their neurotransmitters are so disruptive, get a lot of anxiety, depression along with that. We've seen some really good results. It totally changes certain people's behaviors, like some of our IBS, IBD, ulcerative colitis patients. And here recently, we have a guy he's in stage 4 liver failure due to cirrhosis and some necrosis. And there's research that shows that it is hepatoprotective against, also, from the NSAIDs, but also any type of necrotic or fatty liver accumulation. So I'll let you know how that goes. We just got him started on it. So
okay. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, phenomenal peptide. BPC is well tolerated by almost everybody we've used it on. We've never had any complications with it. Hey everybody, Regan Archibald here. I hope you enjoyed the Go Wellness show and maybe learned a couple things you could apply to your practice. If you're a healthcare entrepreneur who wants to work in an academic think tank with like-minded humans who are just like you, looking to provide better service, better quality of care for your patients, reach us at info@gowellness.com and we're happy to do a free practice analysis for you.